All right, well, I'm here with Mark at the Old State Saloon. And Mark Fitzpatrick, I hear that you are running for governor of Idaho.
I am. I am. Uh, I think it's time that we replace our current leadership with somebody who is more about talking with and communicating with the actual people of Idaho and looking out for them and serving their best interest as first priority. By the way, I'm not the one who set up this shrine here. This is very talented. It looks wonderful, but that wasn't me. Did you do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I've been friends with Mark for a couple of years now. He's obviously runs the Old State Saloon. And as of late, he's been getting a little bit more into the local community, or rather politics. And with his decision to run for governor to help represent the people of Idaho, I wanted to highlight not only his run for governor, but what he's been doing for the community for the past couple of years. He's obviously had a bar with some controversial takes, like, celebrating God's design for sexuality, Hetero Awesomeness Month, which I was a part of, and I was grateful to be a part of it. And with the way that he's always had his doors opened to his saloon, anybody's always welcome here. They encourage conversation and debate, whatever you may consider. So he really has kind of his finger on the zeitgeist of what's been going on here in Idaho. And I do love this bar. So I think it's really important to highlight that, yes, you own a bar. I mean, our founding fathers, we didn't start the revolution by just jumping into it. I mean, they were running around garnering support and seeing what the people actually wanted. And that was done in bars. That was done in town halls. It wasn't done on any kind of, they weren't sending it out through the papers as much as you'd think. It was handing out pamphlets and meeting in person. And Mark here has been, in my mind, one of the unique people that has been able to get an idea of what the people want by allowing everybody and anybody to come into his bar. And so, yes, I set this up because I think that your perspective is unique in a way that you're one of the people here. And what's been happening in Idaho as far as the governmental policies, it seems it's been leaning a little bit more away from the people and more toward the structure of government itself, and ensuring that it's going to continue on in the way that it has been, and not actually representing or protecting the rights of the people. When you do run for governor, or since you are running for governor, what is your kind of initial plan to continue that idea of representing the people?
Well, yeah. So back on that topic of the taverns and everything, I think what we have is a society where they basically said, when you go into a public place, you don't talk about it is not acceptable in our socially to go in and talk about religion or politics or things that actually matter for our life. Instead, you go in a tavern or bar or restaurant now, and the idea is to have you watching a glowing screen that's in front of you. And I think that's a huge problem, because we're not going to learn about each other when people are sitting in front of each other and looking each other in the eye. It's much harder to scream at each other and than it is when you're behind a computer screen and you're just like, especially if you're anonymous, people are just screaming at each other and fights happen and there's very little understanding. So also, all the information is censored and controlled, and there's algorithms, and people are basically placed inside these bubbles, where they're going to either be positioned to hear their information that just gets them more upset against the other side of the equation, or placed in situations where there's going to be arguing about certain topics, but not these topics up here, not the topics about, who's in control and why are they doing these things and what kind of literally poisons are being put into our society, whether it's a physical or medical situation or through our food, or it's going to be a poison of morality that's being pushed out. All these things are kind of planned, and meanwhile we're arguing about, with each other, and that's the way they want it. But if you come into a place like Old State Saloon, you're going to meet with real people in a real place and have real conversations that matter. And a lot of times, those are with people who are somewhat like-minded, and you're kind of polishing off, the way you think about things and understand things because of people's experiences. Other times we have people here who are polar opposites. I have liberals that come in here and we get in conversations, and they know they're coming in here to a place where it's going to be like that, but they actually enjoy a respectful conversation about what the other side says or thinks or everything. And I've had many of those. It's online where it's always the contentious name calling, etc. But when I go out, when I go out to, it used to be when I go to a pride event, for example, or a any leftist event, I would go and I could find people and go off to the side and have a conversation. Well, now I'm still able to do that if I'm not interfered with by a mob of leftists who are screaming and whistling and blowing, all types of stuff in my face and making it almost impossible to communicate. That being said, it's good to have places where people can meet and have real conversations and learn about each other and maybe not walk away, kumbaya, we're in full agreement on everything, but walk away learning something about the other person.
Yeah, not.
What was your question? Did I even answer?
Well,
okay.
Continuously fight with
yeah,
with the caricature that's been presented to them by social media and everything, which is something that has been actually very difficult to overcome in these past couple of years with the influx of information that has been given and the caricature that's been made of a Trump supporter or a conservative or somebody that doesn't go along with what the mainstream narrative actually is. Back to the question.
Yeah, let me go back to it. Okay, so I believe that, and what we've seen demonstrated for us is people governing who are not really governing for the people. They're governing for big ag or big anything really. And there's what I refer to as handlers, and these people from these organizations and that are globalist type of people. Are basically the ones calling the shots because there's money, there's blackmail, as we've seen through the Epstein files, there's power, control, there's dirt, leveraging in a way that is anything other than leveraging the people, the power of the people, right? And what I would want as more of like a populist kind of angle on this would be to have a governorship where I'm in often communication with the people. And this is actually something that I kind of like the way Trump does this, but he's going to be communicating, being very blunt, and that's what I would intend to do, is be very blunt about what's going on in the political world in Idaho, and use that following of the people to put pressure on political situations so that we can have more benefit as a result of the government operating together in a way it should be. To pass laws or get rid of other laws and slash away agencies and decrease our budget and basically have what we should have in Idaho, which is a much more efficient, small government type of place, lower taxes and less government control and interference in our lives.
So it sounds like you want to use the leverage of we the people against and the rights that we have against the big agriculture, big pharma, and various things that have been interfering in the Idaho state politics. It seems that they have been using the leverage that they have as big ag and big pharma and all those against the people. So you want to just flip that on its head and actually be able to represent and protect the rights in the futures for Idahoans and not necessarily kick big ag out, because there is some necessity to it, but actually use the leverage to have benefit the people of Idaho.
Well, I think a lot of what they want, whether you're in a red state or blue state, is the people to basically elect a group of people into a position and then go about their business and not pay attention, is almost the way it's wanted and done, because then you're left with these globalist, big, whatever companies and organizations that are now influencing through money, power, control, blackmail, the representatives only, and these representatives are playing these games, and they're not communicating with the people very much at all. And so they're making the decisions, they're creating laws, they're the ones that are accepting huge amounts of money and creating all kinds of agencies and creating ultimately a bloated government. And they're completely ignoring the communication with the people. the way I would want to do it would have them be very involved. So what does that look like? Like actually look like? That would be a lot more communication through social media. It would be at least once a month in the Lincoln Auditorium, inviting open invitation to public to show up and ask questions directly of me. We would broadcast it across the state, or anywhere anybody wants across the world, and I'll take any question. I am not afraid to stand up and answer any question. There is a term that goes around Idaho that our government is transparent Idaho. And I'm telling you, that is just not true. It's not true. If we had a transparent Idaho, the governor would have responded when we dropped the letter off in his office and said, hey, we have concerns. We want to meet with you. And I dropped this off myself and to his secretary, who said he would respond, and he didn't respond. We want to meet with you and ask you questions about what we're seeing with this Nick Shirley type of investigations that's going on, that I was doing, exposing the fact that there's a lot of fraud going on in our system. What about these NGOs, the Department of Health and Welfare, all this money that's going in and going out and distributed, and all these, and it's going to people who are non-Americans. And so we have all these taxpayer dollars going in. It's all being redistributed out to people who are non-Americans, and you have now non-Americans that are having the ability to pursue the American dream more so than actual Americans are. And it's just completely asinine. So we invited him to do that, and you just get ignored. And there's no communication with the people. So that's the type of thing. So I'd be standing up and answering those questions once a month. I'd also do a podcast where I bring on, everybody from a normal, regular business owner in Idaho to be on the podcast, and everybody can watch, and we talk about what a normal business owner's concerns would be, to people who are holding political office, to sheriffs. We met a sheriff the other day, Elmore County, and he was expressing how their budget is such that he only has 2 deputies for the 4th largest, physical county in Idaho, and he only has a budget for 2 deputies to handle all that. He doesn't even have enough budget to send them all to their proper training and actually still be able to have somebody to respond to emergencies. So we have things like that are happening in Idaho where you don't have a budget for that, but we have millions and millions and millions of dollars for people who are not even Americans, that are basically receiving food and health and schooling and everything. Don't get me started on schooling. There's like 20
healthcare money,
28 different languages that are being spoken now.
I do believe that Trump did pass an executive order saying that English is now the official language of America, which is odd. 250 years in, we finally decided that, hey, let's just designate English as the language of America. But hey, I'll take it.
But you wouldn't know that by watching the Super Bowl yesterday. I didn't watch it, but I hear the halftime show. It's just Espanol, right?
As far as I know,
yeah,
I didn't see it either. I saw a couple clips, so reportedly that's what's been going on. It is really good to see a working class man, or actually I should say a business owner. In Idaho who came in and opened his doors to everybody, listening to the concerns of the people, and taking it to heart. I know that personally I've met with a bunch of people around here who had no idea who I was, that testified to your character and kind of reinforced everything that, in my experience that I've had over the past couple of years knowing you, strong Christian family man, willing to stand against any kind of backlash when you're speaking the truth. And it's something that I genuinely respect about you, and you're one of the people that I've really flocked to, especially after the 2020 government lockdowns and the concerns of not enough strong men were standing up and standing against some of the unconstitutional and tyrannical mandates. And I know that you were one of those guys that decided to just put your foot in the sand and say no. And then not only that, you listen to the people around you and their concerns. And I think it's a really, really good thing that you are actually stepping up and running for governor, because like you said, it has been too long that the government has been representing itself too much and not enough of the people. So is there any message that you'd want to leave to the people of Idaho today, and how would they support you?
Yeah, I think across the country, People are getting outraged with what we're finding out. Like daily, I feel like there's just massive drops of information that are showing that, as well as Trump would say, the swamp is deep, right? Whether whether you like Trump or not, he's been very clear that there is a massive amount of corruption going on in our government and political world. And as far as the people of Idaho go, unfortunately, what we're finding out is that we're not excluded in that, and it is deep. And there's like even just a tremendous amount of infighting between this group of Republicans and this group of Republicans, and you're a rhino, no, you're a rhino, and allegations like that, where there's a lot of decisions being made, and the decisions being made are based off of things like pride, money, power, control, etc. And what the decision should be being made off of is how is this going to best affect the people of Idaho? And so that's what I would like to see. We got into this coming into this season. We're looking at who's running for office. I was, and I see that nobody's running against our governor. And I had come from these last couple years of frequently saying to people, hey, we need to step up. We need to step up and do something. Good people who cannot be sold out, who will not sell out. They won't fold under the pressure. We need more of those people across the country to step up. And I'm here in Idaho, and we're not seeing it happen. So I was like, man, I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? And I was like, man, I started praying about it. Lord, if this is something you would have me do, show me. And boy, yeah, he showed me over the next 6 weeks. And so I've changed, my trajectory and plans of things I was going to do with business and podcasting and everything, and shifted directions because we are at a point in history across the country, but also here in Idaho, where something needs to happen now. Otherwise, we are going to lose. We are going to lose our way of life as we know it. And things can change pretty quickly. All of a sudden, you have things happening and constitutions are being ignored or changed or amended, etc. And we're suddenly living in a system where we have way less rights. And the reason being is because people were apathetic. They were apathetic and cowardly and didn't step up to do something when they needed to. This is the moment. This is like DEFCON 1. This is the moment in our history where people have to step up and do something to affect a change. We have to get people elected into offices that answer to a higher authority, that answer to God, and say, what would you have me do today? And make decisions off of a foundation of moral truth, biblical truth, for the best of the people. And that's what I'm going to do. People can support me by going to markfitzidaho.com. No matter how you misspell that, it should go to the same place. But Mark is MARKFITZ Idaho.com. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for prayer support. And we are looking for financial support to bring us through. My advisors are telling me we need to raise at least $1 million, but that our money will be about probably 10 times more efficient and effective than Brad Little's, assuming that that he files and he runs. But so that's how people can help me, and I don't really consider it helping me. I consider it helping the people, because if we can get me in this office, we'll be able to use the people from here, and I'll be at the top of the government structure, and we'll kind of clean everything out that's in the middle together. So
that's great. Yeah, attacking from the top and the bottom, and getting the citizens of Idaho motivated to actually come out. And that's one of the things that I think that is going to be your superpower in this run, is being able to actually inspire people to get off their butt and stop showing that apathy towards our government, because as everybody knows, the power of the government only derives its power from the consent of the governed. And when you decide to check out and not take part in any of it, in a way that is consent, and you're apathetically consenting towards the corruption that's been going on. And now that it's being exposed, and we have people like Mark Fitzpatrick here stepping up and wanting to run for governor and help represent you, we are asking you to come out and help, whether it be to pray, donate, or volunteer. Find it at markfitzpatrickidaho.com. markfitzidaho.com.
Yep.
I'll get it. So please, you guys, check out the website and see what you can do to help. for the future of Idaho. Mark,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Left hand.
Okay, left hand.
And thank you. All right.
Thank you guys.
Right on.
Perfect.